All right. So we got Jessica Stempien with us today. Thank you very much for joining us. This is usually the part of the show just because, we go live. People are kind of streaming in. We have some fun some music that we started our show. Yeah, exactly. So now we just I usually put Greg on the spot for witty banter. I'm not going to do that too because it's mean. But definitely, if you have anything funny to say it right now. Just super, super funny.
Super funny.
Wait, was that for me or for Jess?
Yes.
No.
Nothing. Yeah, I got nothing. I got nothing.
Exactly.
There you go.
All right, Jessica, thank you so much for joining us. The election's coming up. Let's get into it. So hello.
I warned that we were going to ask her about gratitude stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Let's start there. I would thank you for that. Every once in a while, we need to be reminded. We started this whole gratitude thing, right? Where that's what we do at the beginning of the show, and I'm 9 steps into looking at heat maps in the Texas counties. Okay. Oh yeah, that thing that we do. All right. Well, Greg, since you brought it up, you start.
I'm grateful for young Texas voters, people who have never voted before. This is their first election cycle. I'm super proud of people for recognizing the gravity of this moment and registering and getting it done.
All right.
Yeah, beat that. Because this is competitive. Competitive gratitude. That's what we're all about.
I know. Now I want to make 2. I want 2 gratitudes.
Many as you like.
So I am grateful for this lady. Her name is Sandra Sprigg, and she's out in Dade City. She's a Republican, and she's handing my flyers out and talking to voters. And she's been doing that since yesterday, actually for a very long time. But at the polls, she is handing my flyers out, and she just texted me this morning. It was like, I need 100 more flyers. I'm like, okay. So I'm super grateful for Miss Sprigg, and I am grateful for the new, I don't know if it's new to me, Ellie King's song, The Let Go. Oh my God, it's just, I can't get enough of it. I was just listening to it. So yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I make it a point not to listen to anything from the last decade, but I will have to check that out.
Right.
Nothing that you would hear on the radio. That's my
recent music.
Yeah.
I actually, I have some eclectic music tastes that are a little far out. The stuff I listen to is what I wish country music radio stations would play. Instead of half-ass sitting on the beach with a beer can rap songs. What are we doing?
I know. It's confusing.
It doesn't make any sense to me.
What is even happening?
Right.
All right. So that's you're grateful for voters between 18 and 29 across the country who get it. Because I definitely am not grateful for the voters between 18 and 29 who do not get it.
Yeah. And hey, let's spare another second for the kids from Parkland, right? The kids from Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School who got called crisis actors, who received death threats, who got told they were being manipulated by their elders. There's a massive young voter turnout surge, and those kids got national attention, and I think that's important that we pay them some respect.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Marjorie Stoneman Douglas was another person that taught us to get in good trouble, get in the way, be a thorn in the side of abusive power. And that in that context, she was talking about was saving the Everglades from destruction. So, there's a long list of local and Florida politicians who went and sat on her front porch and just chatted with Marjorie Stoneman Douglas, who wrote The River of Grass, to learn those lessons. So I'm really proud that those kids from that school got in that. Yeah. Somebody's mentioned in the Virginia Rippert, our good friend is mentioning in the comments that she's grateful for Mike Fasano, who came out
Yeah.
as a Republican voting for
Hello.
Biden. This got national attention. It was on MSN.com last night.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah. So I've known Mike for 1,000 years, and he was one of those annoying Dan Quayle family values, Murphy Brown sucks Republicans, back in the day. And I know he still kind of holds those really super conservative beliefs, but he has modified a great deal in the last 10 years on holding his own party accountable for their excesses and problems. And he's getting roasted by local Republicans on Facebook and social media today. So if you see Mike at the tax collector's office, because he sometimes works shifts at the front desk, make sure and give him a high five and tell him you're grateful to him for stepping up. So that's cool.
True.
Indeed. All right, you want to talk some nuts and bolts? Some.
I feel like I should probably get in on the whole gratitude situation.
Oh yeah, that probably.
Two announcements this morning. One from a state that, if I'm not mistaken, is reliably blue: Hawaii and Texas. Both passed 2016 complete voter total levels. So the early vote, with 5 days to go, Hawaii has voted more than that, and 2016 was a record for both Hawaii and Texas. And we've beaten them both. I cannot imagine a scenario in which a president who has lost at least 150,000 preventable deaths to COVID is getting that much more support. Like, I just don't see it. Now, granted, I am a freaking ridiculous optimist. Note that I said frickin'. I'm really working on this right now. And there's 15,000 people, dummies in Tampa that go to a MAGA rally yesterday and had to get sprayed down because they were all passing out. Super
12 people went to the hospital for heat exhaustion.
Right. And so that's happening. And Biden's doing events with far less, but that's the point, right? Like that's the idea. I can't imagine that he's winning Trump. I just can't imagine it. But then again, until 3 days before the election or 4 days before the election last time, I couldn't either. So
what are you grateful for?
This is the way. I'm grateful for them. Well, I'm grateful that everyone's going out to vote. But Dave actually reminded me what I'm really grateful for this morning, which is The Mandalorian.
Yeah, they woke me up. My phone started going nuts at 6:30 this morning. Paching, paching, paching. And it's Corey and Dave fanboying about the new Mandalorian episode. Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god!
Yeah, we were fanboying.
Come on, you nerds! I'm sleeping over here.
Dave, what am I grateful for? Baby Yoda and the Tusken Raiders.
Nice. Yep. All right, so enough about us, Jess. Let's talk about your run for county commission against an entrenched, powerful incumbent, although she doesn't look tough, right? But the most important question I had to answer when I ran for mayor of Port Richey, other than will you fire on the SWAT team if they knock on your door, was why I was running. So that's the first thing. Yeah, I vowed never to shoot at a SWAT team, and I thought I was pretty safe making that
again.
So tell us why you're running for county commission.
Oh goodness, I am. Well, for the last 5 years, I've been working in my neighborhood. We have a coalition that I helped to build and I lead to work on our stormwater and flooding issues. And over the last 5 years, we've made some progress, but we kind of ran into a wall when the last piece of land to be developed came up for rezoning. And then I started to really realize that the process for rezoning was not very clear. So for us as a neighborhood, we really had to kick and scream to make sure that our voice was heard and that the development had the appropriate stormwater and flooding design parameters put on their permit. But we had to hire an attorney and an engineer for that. And I really realized that the current commissioners weren't really advocating for us.
Right.
And then I started to realize that we're not alone, regardless of whatever issue it is. As I've been on this campaign trail, the theme I keep hearing is that people, communities, residents feel like they're not being listened to. Commissioners have their minds made up about things and they go into the county meetings and they give their input, but it falls on deaf ears. And I have experienced that. We have been fighting really hard to get done what we've gotten done in our neighborhood. And when my neighbors asked me to run at first, I was like, oh, hell no. No, I'm not a politician, but what I've realized over the last 20 years of working in government, if you don't do politics, it does you. And, democracy is not just given to you. You have to go out and fight for it. And I'm, working in this coalition, I've never looked at any of my neighbors as Democrats, Republicans, MPAs, people that don't care or they do care. I've just tried to work for them. And that's what I plan to do as a commissioner. And that's why I decided to run. It's just everything that was happening in our country at the time. And I took a step back. I had a friend kind of give me a little nudge. And I said, you know what? Okay, let's do this.
Nice.
My husband decided to support me. And so here we are.
Nice. So do you mind telling us what neighborhood that is?
Yeah, it is. It's actually two neighborhoods, but they're connected together by roads and by tributaries of the Anclote. So there's Meadowbrook Estates is up front. It's right off of Highway 54. And then it connects to Sierra Pines. And I live in Sierra Pines. And it butts the St. Pete well field on the east side. And then Metler Toledo on the west side. And now Cypress Preserve on the east side. Where there's going to be a lot of stuff.
Did you guys run into any of the problem that we saw? There was an audit last year of the county permitting process that found some really, I don't know if I want to use the word shady, but some really inattentive permitting processes going on. And it was just a random pull 8 files audit, and they found problems in just the small number of files. Did you guys find when you started looking into how the permits got issued for your community and the communities around you that was an issue, that they had just willy-nilly been giving out permits without checking their own regulations?
We have experienced that, yes, with the development that happened on the west side. And then with this development on the east side, Cypress Preserve, that we had to fight to make sure they had the appropriate flow marks, that they were using the appropriate modeling for their calculations.
Right.
Which is why we had to hire our own engineer. Yet we have engineers at the county, and the water management district. And thankfully, the water management district really helped and listened to us and really supported us in this process. But we had to hire our own engineer to make sure that those calculations and the model and the flow and additional survey points were done in our neighborhood to accommodate what we need to not have additional flooding on our side.
So not wanting you to get in Catherine Starkey's head, but how do you think and why do you think a county commissioner could or should have had an impact on this?
I think they work for the citizens, not for the corporations or the companies. In the org chart, it literally says citizens, county commissioners, county administrator. Some of those developers may be residents, but when it comes to an issue like this, she should have been supporting us. And I gave her a heads up. I said, hey, we've been having monthly meetings with the stakeholders, including the county. And she was at one of them. I said, hey, our residents are really concerned about this development.
Right.
And that's as far as it went. So,
but doesn't it seem to you that, I mean, this is maybe a leading question, but when this comes before the county commission for approval, right, I would want my county commissioner, even if they don't have a knowledge of the specific problem, to say, I have some questions about whether the Cypress Preserve is being preserved. And I don't want to vote on this until we have those answers. Doesn't that seem like how it should go?
Yes, absolutely. Commissioners should ask clarifying questions. That is totally why I want to be a county commissioner, because as a meeting facilitator, I'm trying to help people with processes. That's what I like to do, is ask questions and to make sure I have a good understanding of the issue before I vote on it. 100%.
So I mean, this is my observation of having challenged all of the current county commissioners on homeless issues over the past 5 to 7 years. They don't want to be questioned. First thing, that's and they're very reactive. Like I got told by an assistant county administrator, well, you need to come up with a plan for how to fund that. And I was like, no, I want my county commissioners to be proactive and actually say, this is a problem we have to solve. Let's find solutions. Greg, we want you on the, even if it wasn't me, whoever, we want these 5 people to come forward, and we'll give them all the resources we have to make a plan. But that's not, they want us with no information, with no access to the county budget and staff, to make a plan for how to deal with a specific issue. And that just seems funky to me. Does that?
Yeah, that resonates with me. I mean, people who like to use power over don't like to plan. They don't want to plan. They don't want you to know your plan. So until we have commissioners that want to use power with the people and really try to work with them, we're not going to have a plan. And I know when I get elected, it's still going to be an uphill battle because I'm going to be working with people that are not Democrats, but that's okay. I've been working with people that aren't Democrats for a really long time. But the point is we need to plan. That's what I see across the board in the county. We have no comp plan. We really don't have a strong preservation plan. And yeah, we haven't been planning what to do for the homeless population. So yeah.
So explain what a
hold on.
You want to make sure that we agree that she has already listened to the Brene Brown.
No, I want to go one step further. Obviously, that's fantastic. But like, just hearing that from somebody I've never talked to before, who's in Democratic politics, like it, and I've been stuck in feels, more as the anxiety ramps up towards this election. This is a thing that's happening. We aired that live. That podcast live on the show as a special event because holy crap. But if we're moving into a phase where the delineation between the Democratic and the Republican parties is people that can speak, eloquently to that power dynamic the way that you have, and dummies, which more or less is how it's happening. But like if we make this a stalwart of the Democratic Party, because it's an example coming straight from the top now, which is fantastic. That excites the crap out of me. Like I wanted to stop and mark that as a point in time that's happening. Cause I mean, we are going to talk about everything else, right? We got to talk about I think Dave mentioned something about Moog Road or whatever. Right. And Fred's asking from Arizona about what a county commissioner does. We want to get at all that stuff, but holy crap, do I want to sign up to be on that team? So thank you for saying that.
She's gonna hit you up for phone banking right now.
Whatever.
All right. So explain what the comp plan is for people that are just dipping into this and don't really know.
The comprehensive plan is basically the blueprint for how the county is supposed to grow, which includes everything: where land is developed commercially, residentially, where land is preserved, what the regulations are for stormwater, for wetlands protection. And we haven't had a comp plan updated since 2006. What that means is every time there's a new development coming to the board for approval, it pretty much doesn't align with the comp plan since it hasn't been updated since 2006. That means it's up to the commissioners to decide if it should be developed or not without the citizens' input. It's really important that we update the comp plan, look into the future. What is our county going to look like in 2070? What should it look like? Where should we be building and where should we not? And to do it all with citizen input. Right now, it's going under the radar. It's up to the commissioners, and it's up to Department of Economic Opportunity to approve these large-scale land amendments. But so right now, the citizens really don't have a voice in how their county should grow.
So how would an overhaul of the comprehensive plan happen?
It is actually going to happen. The county has given budget to have the comp plan updated. Now, starting in January, I had a meeting with the planning department director to talk to them a little bit about this and understand. And I advocated that they should use Thousand Friends of Florida's process called Project 2070.
Nice. Yes.
You're familiar with that.
Yep.
Which, they have already hired a consultant. So that's about as far as I got with them. I don't know how they're going to update it. I don't know what sections they're going to update it. And are they updating it for the developers' benefit, or are they updating it for the communities as a whole?
I think I can answer that question.
Yeah.
If you go and you look at their donor lists, it will become glaringly obvious who they're updating that plan for. Mm-hmm. And Sandra Reed has a long post here about how did they get the laws changed to enable ripping out cypress stands, the percolation system for rainwater to return it to the aquifer. 54 has had most of these cypress stands ripped out and backfilled with 10 feet of fill and built hundreds of apartments on them. There's your answer right there. The comprehensive plan. Also, Rick Scott, rolled back a whole lot of the buffer rules about building on and near wetlands. That stuff was all taken away. And and if you zoom out and see what the president has done this week with the Tongass National Forest in Alaska, that is it? I can't remember which of the Utah national monuments is now going to be open to mining. This is their plan. Their plan is to just rip out and overdevelop everything in the name of a booming economy. And
that's crazy.
I mean, and I feel like we can have a successful economy without that. Do you agree?
Yeah, I do. I mean, in our, currently we have a wildlife corridor ordinance, but that ordinance does not have any teeth in our land development code. That's one thing that needs to change. And preservation does not just mean we're, improving the environment, filtering water, and providing habitat. It also means flood control. It's taking those areas that are in a floodplain already and taking them out of being developed, of being filled in, and having apartments sitting on top of those lands that are really supposed to be swamps. And so if we're increasing our flood control projects through preservation, we're increasing our national flood insurance rating, and hopefully that would decrease your insurance rates. So, I mean, it's an overall benefit that we really haven't had anybody at the county commissioner level push forward. And we need to start pushing forward that message. It's not just about habitat and all that. I mean, it's a bigger picture. It's flood control. With climate change and all of that happening, it's important that we think ahead.
Okay. Is there anything else that you wanted to cover with us? Like what else? Oh, there was something that flashed through my mind that I wanted to make sure that you got a chance to talk about. And now I completely lost track of it. So is there, what else is there that you want to,
hardcore professionals?
Yeah, we really
hardcore professionals.
No, I understand. Yeah, I mean, really what I'm about is making sure that we improve quality of life. I am a native, born and raised here. I still live in the same neighborhood I grew up in. I'm invested in this community. I'm not using this as a stepping stone to get to Tallahassee or Congress. If that were to happen way in the future, okay, cool. But that's really not where my heart is at. And I'm really working to improve transparency and accountability and fairness. And my goal when I got into this was to make sure we're doing planning for stormwater, we're managing our growth through planning, and that we have a strong preservation program. But all underneath that are the human issues, the homelessness, the substance use, mental health, and making sure we're not stigmatizing any of that, because those are our residents that are dealing with those issues. So, yeah, that's
okay. So I have two specific questions. When you see homeless people in your neighborhood, do you call the police and report them?
No, I don't.
Okay.
And
your opponent does. So I just want to make sure everybody listening knows that that's the thing she told me that she does.
It's just sad,
Who does that help?
They removed that bus shelter in front of the Wawa because of the homeless people congregating around it, and that's sad too. It's like, where are they supposed to go?
Right.
That
Okay.
was the shelter.
So the next thing was, my understanding is how county commissioners are paid. And somebody mentioned this in the comments. It's why I'm bringing it up. That how county commissioners are paid in Pasco County is based on population growth, not on quality of life. Do you see a way to grapple with that? Do you see a way to? Is there a mechanism to change that? Do you know?
It's through the legislature, because that would that's statute, so that would have to be changed in Tallahassee, and it would take grassroots action, right, to make some momentum on that. But I definitely, it's a double-edged sword, I guess. They're developing, they're increasing population, and they're trying to, continue their terms as county commissioner.
So what you're saying is we need to make sure we elect you and Brandy Goyette and Daniel Andanino.
Yeah.
And and we need
Yes.
more representation for ideas like that.
Yes, Tammy Garcia. Yes, Kathy Lewis. Yes.
All right. So I don't know why I've been forgetting to mention Tammy in all these rants. She's probably going to punch me right in the face next time I see her.
Right in the face.
Yeah. But I want to make sure that I let folks know the down ticket races that you face in this election. I know we are all super focused on the horrendous federal leadership that we've been getting, but these local and state races are perhaps more impactful on your daily life than the presidential race. what happens with our congressmen, what happens with our state legislators, what happens with our county commission, and even our city boards and committees is vital to your interests. And if you want people that are going to act on your behalf, you got to elect them. You can't just defer or pretend that they're not affecting your daily life. The city of Port Richey learned some really valuable lessons. The voters of the city of Port Richey, some really valuable lessons last year. They were all very excited about Amber and Jack Mariano in Port Richey until they started to try and dissolve the city. And now they're all anti, and they were I wish there was somebody that wasn't a Democrat in the race. Well, the Democrat in the race actually worked her ass off to make sure our city didn't get dissolved. And it's weird for me to drive through my neighborhood and see Trump signs and Brandy Goyette signs, but that's what people like Jess Stempien are going to do for you, right? They're going to represent you in a way that it doesn't matter what your party is. If it's the right thing to do, that's what she's going to do. That's just science right there.
Science. We should probably get some questions. From
we probably have some questions.
There is a shit ton of them.
Can you stay a little longer, Jess? Can we go longer than that?
Okay. Totally up to you guys.
Jessica, how can I, as a citizen, get involved with my county commissioners here in Hillsborough?
In Hillsborough or in Pasco?
It's Hillsborough. But I mean, I think a general answer would suffice.
Hillsborough is pretty. I look at a lot of what they're doing, and I want to bring it to Pasco. What I would say in Pasco, we have citizen advisory committees. In Hillsborough, they have a lot of task force. I would go on the Hillsborough County website. If you're interested in look at that, if you're interested in planning and like how Hillsborough is growing, they have a great independent planning commission. It's independent from the county, and they have a lot of task force to be involved in. So I would check out their website for sure.
Beautiful.
Indeed. All right. So what about waiving impact fees for developers, pushing off recurring costs like repaving roads for folks in the future?
Yeah, one of the things that I want to do is to make sure, well, actually right now they're doing a mobility study, the county is, to look at a mobility impact study, because they pay mobility fees and then they pay impact fees, they being the developers when they're developing land. And those fees have been lowered in past years, they have been waived. And then when communities like ours have problems, the county's solution is to do a non-ad valorem tax to fix the issue. That's a little confusing. How are we waiving fees for developers and then yet taxing the residents again on top of our taxes we already pay? So for me, what I want to do is to look at that study that they're doing and make sure that it's broad in nature and looking at everything holistically, and making sure that we look at our impact fees and see what that has done to our budget by waiving those fees. I mean, we need to talk about these things. I don't understand why the Planning Commission is not talking about these things. And it's because they're too close to the county.
And we're talking about not chump change, tens of millions of dollars in waived impact fees over the past few years.
Yes. And we have I have driven all over this county for campaigning purposes. And I've been around the county as a kid, but it's been a long time. And I am seeing roads everywhere that are in disrepair. I'm seeing neighborhoods without sidewalks. And I am not seeing a whole lot of public transportation options. So it's time that we invest in our infrastructure and we stop waiving all these fees. Yes, we want people to come to our county, but we've got to take care of what we have already to keep them here, Right.
Okay, so now we're down to, I think, maybe the most important question. Star Wars or Star Trek?
Star Wars, totally. Oh my gosh, I love Ewoks.
Okay, you like the Ewoks. Okay. All right.
Yes.
We always want to close with a really, hard-hitting seal the vote.
Exactly. And I used to
but revolutions are built on hope.
That like New Hopes. Yeah,
my daughter actually just got that tattoo. My younger daughter just got a TIE fighter, an X-wing with that on her shoulder.
That's cool.
That's awesome. Yeah. So, I used to be really judgmental about people who love Ewoks, but my current kind of middle-aged adult love affair with Baby Yoda is I can't say shit.
Right, exactly.
Do you have your Baby Yoda handy?
I got where is Baby Yoda? Yoda somewhere around here.
I hope Rody the dog didn't eat. One of our viewers, Jen Rakita, who you might know, she actually made Corey a custom hand-knitted Baby Yoda.
So
yeah,
cute.
and she made me a Sasquatch because she knows who I am.
I love it. I'm gonna have to ask her for an Ewok.
There you go. I'm sure she can knock one right out for you. Nice. All right, Jess. Hey, thank you very much for joining us today and being playing along with our sometimes serious, sometimes weird little show.
No, I like it. It was very relaxed. I appreciate the opportunity to get the word out more. We're in the home stretch. So
yeah, right. So what do you want to tell our viewers as a closeout here? I'm pretty sure that everybody watching this show has already voted. But this will get a wider audience. So what do you want to say to folks in Pasco County today? Since
most of you have probably already voted, text a friend, call a friend, and see if they have voted and what their voting plan is, and let them know that we have one more day, well, today and tomorrow, left for early voting, and then we will be only voting at the polls on November 3rd. So make sure you know where you're going to vote if you haven't voted. Reach out to a friend and see if they have voted, and vote all the way down the ballot.
All right. Well, thank you very much. I look very much forward to seeing your swearing in as a county commissioner. It's going to be an awesome day. One last thing. If you don't win, are you going to run again?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
You won't get discouraged and flake out and decide this wasn't for you, like I did?
No, I mean, it hasn't been like a horrible. I mean, hopefully there's no family issues that pop up. That comes first. So,
right.
But yeah, I would like to run again. We've already talked about that a little bit.
Beautiful.
All right. Well, regardless, feel free to come on a bunch, whether you win and are in office or not, because we want to make sure we keep strengthening candidates until they win, and then we have to cement power. Like we can't ever get complacent again because. We saw how that went. So, and
anybody that holds current power structures feet to the fire is always welcome on our show. So if there are issues that you want to talk about moving forward, we want to have you on for sure.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Have a great weekend.
Jessica.
All right. Thank you very much. So that's Jess Stempien. She's one of the candidates for county commission here in Pasco County. What a great guest.
Yeah, she's awesome.
Dang. Yeah, Kelly was right. That was, by the way, Kelly Smith is who put us in her orbit so we could have Jess on. I've never met Jess in person, but I've been reading a lot about her positions and ideas, and this is exactly what we need. We need people that have proactive leadership in Pasco County. We have none of that. You have to chase them around to get anything done in this county, and that's ridiculous. That's not what leadership is. What is going on there?
Nothing. Just moving to, I want to show that heat map from Texas because it might be the single biggest piece of good news that I have seen in this election cycle. But did you know that Harris County had, I think it might be their last day for early voting. They did it all night last night. They stayed open.
Doing it till I think all the way through the election.
Are you serious? They're open 24. They're open 24 hours a day. Babs is lying down right there with all the dogs. They're open 24 hours a day in Harris County now.
Yeah, and they passed their total vote total
that's why
last night. Yep. And the Harris County election supervisor is a very young guy, African American, and he is fighting this thing with the single ballot box drop off return thing, hammer and tongs, man. He is going at it.
I feel like that fight's, I almost at this point, I mean, that fight is over, right? Because there's so much confusion around it. You can't really, be too content with that necessarily. I mean, we might get a little bit out of it through win, we might not, and that's fine. But I feel like that's screwed the Republicans over because while they're worried about drop boxes, they opened up all of the early voting or some or whatever. They opened up as many early voting places as they possibly could.
Right.
And while they were fucking around, Harris County found out.
Yeah, I like that. I there's a lot going on today, right? Like I did not sleep well last night. I was not able to get off to sleep till 4:00. And so Corey's lucky his phone wasn't dinging in the middle of the night like mine did at 6:30.
Thank you for that. I got my first real night's sleep in like 5 days.
Well, this morning, first thing, and I'm gonna share this, Corey, and so you're gonna need to put it up, and we'll make sure that we get the audio correct. But Joe Scarborough this morning on Morning Joe, who well said, right? But he had Steve Kornacki on, and I want to show you this whole 3 minutes because we're important. We fucking matter. And I don't mean us like just voters. I mean Pasco County. You ready?
Yeah, go to town.
Remember that by
good sound.
7:30.
Yeah, you're good.
especially if 75, 80% of Floridians have already voted. By 7:30, we can go in and look at a lot of these counties, especially in the middle of the state. And like you said, along the Gulf Coast, if Donald Trump is underperforming by 10, 15%, what he did 4 years ago in those Florida counties, that's not bad news for him in Florida. That's
everywhere.
bad news for him across the country. Now, if Donald Trump is doing as well in even those small counties, some of which will have 90% of their vote in and will get it by 7:30 at night on election night, if you take some of those counties in the center of the state and Donald Trump is holding those margins, well, Joe Biden may be in for not just a long night, a very long few weeks.
Well, and look, how about this? I'll call this up. This is
I couldn't believe this happened.
On election night 2016 in Florida. Actually, let me hit the button right here. So here, as an example, take a look. Take a look at Pasco County. That's what I was trying to call up. This is one of those counties I remember early on election night, just north of Tampa, Gulf Coast. Look at the Trump margin here, 59-37 over Clinton. Look what we were comparing that to just 4 years earlier. Romney had won it by 7. Trump was winning it by 3 times the margin that Mitt Romney had won it by. And you saw this all over the place on the Gulf Coast. And so you're absolutely right. What we're going to be doing on election night 2020 is we're going to have the 2020 result right here. And we're going to call this up and we're going to say, how does this compare county after county to 4 years ago? And we saw all the trends you're describing in Florida. We saw them. Are they being replicated? Have they changed in a way that favors the Democrats? Have they changed in a way that favors the Republicans? Have they canceled each other out? Do they say something about what's going to come later? But yeah, I expect. It was Tim Russert 20 years ago who said Florida, Florida, Florida. But that's my expectation for the early hours of election night 2020. There's going to be a lot of Florida, and there's going to be potentially a lot coming out of Florida and some other states in North Carolina and Ohio and Georgia, some other states too. But I think that could be telling us something very significant about the national race.
Well, and Willie, Pasco County, let's look at Pasco County that Steve has up on the big board right now. That's one of the 4 or 5 counties that I'm going to be looking at, that you're going to be looking at 7:15, 7:30 when they dump the votes, because again, they're going all of the early votes, unlike Pennsylvania and the other Midwest states. Florida's counting the votes right now. They're counting the absentee votes right now. They're counting the early votes right now. Polls close at 7. They drop them at 7:15, 7:30. And again, in a county like Pasco County, they're going to have counted already 90%, 95% of the votes. That's going to come at us very quickly. And Pasco County is one of those counties. If we can show, Steve, by the big board right there and show the numbers there, you look at what Barack Obama got in 2012 and see that he got 46%. Hillary Clinton gets 37%. If we're seeing a number for Joe Biden out of Pasco County at 7:15, 7:30 on election night, and he's sitting at 42, 43%, that's big news, because that means a lot of those Obama, Trump voters are edging back towards Joe Biden. And that means that some of those older white voters are breaking away from Donald Trump. If Trump holds his numbers and Biden is down in the 30s in Pasco County and about 10 other counties in the middle of the state, then again, great news for Donald Trump. He's holding on to the people that he knows he needs to win, and that will carry through Florida and maybe some other states as well.
There you go. Sorry, let me stop the share there.
University poll shows.
We matter.
The work that what's the name of that guy that goes door to door? Basically, you were chasing him around. Arturo Sanchez. That's like thinking about the work that Kelly Smith is doing, that Brandy Goyd is doing, that Arturo Sanchez is doing,
that Josie Hernandez and Artie Hernandez and Maggie Coons and
now Jessica Stempien, right? And because Ash, talking about us, making a difference and crediting us. I don't think that. I mean, great, right? But there are people doing far more and harder work than we are, and they've been doing it for years, and grinding out infrastructure finally in a place that kind of didn't really have any, and younger people and there's a lot of people that are doing a lot of work that have been just piling it in. So and if we do get good numbers in Pasco County, it'll be because of them.
I have always I sort of identified myself, Ash, as the person that like other people are digging the hole, and I'm standing near the work site with a megaphone. You're praising them. Look at the people digging the hole, right? So
Right.
that's kind of
You guys
that's
are
our
awesome.
role.
Exactly.
You know, look at that. Look what they're doing. Bring them some water and food because they're
Right.
digging a fucking hole,
Hmm.
right? That's where I see myself now. It is Kelly Smith, Brenda Goyette, Jess Stempien, Danny Andanino. All of these people are doing the grinding, hard, heartbreaking work of losing over and over again to draw us closer to that Obama number. In Pasco County, it's unrealistic to think that Joe Biden is going to win our county. It's totally unrealistic. But if we get within 7 points of Trump in Pasco County, that's a fucking strong victory for us. That indicates that the statewide totals in counties that are turnable, are switchable, are close is going to be good. So I was pretty excited to see, you know, and whatever else we think of Joe Scarborough, he knows Florida very well. He was an elected official from North Florida back in the, I think Matt Gaetz's seat was I think Scarborough was his legislative seat, if I'm not mistaken, back in the day. So,
Wow.
so he knows exactly what the mechanics are of a Florida election. And it was really gratifying for me to see him bring that up this morning on the show. And I guess Lawrence O'Donnell talked about Pasco County last night as well. So we're in the national spotlight for something other than, you know, people having sex with cows, which is always, you know, that's a benefit. That's good.
What was the how much did Hillary Clinton get again?
37%.
37%.
And I didn't do the percentages, but I looked yesterday, and the way it looks to me right now is, as far as who has voted, Republicans are about, I think they were at 83,000 votes cast so far, and Democrats at around 62,000. So we're about 25% behind them in turnout. But there's also the independents, which are the elephant in the room. I don't think they're going to break 50-50. I think more of them are going to break for Biden than for Trump. So we don't know yet, but our turnout has been very good. We kicked their ass in vote by mail for the first time in history. We've never equaled the number of Republican vote by mail ballots cast, and there's still a bunch of them outstanding. So if you have that vote by mail ballot in your house right now, fill it out, take it to the supervisor's office, and turn it the fuck in.
Yeah,
we need that vote. We need that vote at Pasco, and who else? Jess Stempien needs that ballot turned in. Brenda Goyette needs that ballot turned in. You know, Danny Andanino needs that ballot turned in. And there is some polling that was close to the vest that showed that Danny has a really good chance of beating Amber Mariano for that legislative seat. And that is super critical for us. Brenda Goyette is a perennial candidate. She's run twice now, and she runs on a shoestring budget compared to her opponents. Jack Mariano has $142,000 in his campaign account right now, and Brandy has about $27,000. So she's running on a shoestring, and she has a good chance of kicking his ass. But that only happens if you and everybody you know circles that bubble and puts that ballot in the fucking box. You know, Victor Rodriguez, the third party guy that got duped into running, is going to shear votes off of her because there's lots of people that are like, oh, I hate Jack Mariano, but I wish there was somebody other than the Democrat in this race. Let me tell you something. That particular Democrat saved the city of Port Richey from being dissolved last year. And the people in Port Richey, although they're a very small part of the total, it's about 1,600 votes, they fucking know. They know who helped them, and it was a Democrat. So, you know, that's the kind of spirit that we love to see from Jess and from Brandy and from Danny, is we know that they're going to advocate for everybody in our community, not just the people that voted for them, but they're going to hold power accountable. And we can have a responsible growth plan, not a runaway train of environmental destruction growth plan. So let's do that. Let's do that. Let's make it worth Joe Scarborough talking about us. You know, let's earn that national spotlight in a way that makes us one of those counties people point to later and go, holy crap, look at that. Like, we're going to be talking about Harris County for years now in Texas. We're going to be, I understand there's a massive difference between Houston, which is big, and Pasco County, which is not. But there are certain locations in our country that become important because they do something extraordinary for our country. And I would love for Pasco County to be one of those. And a lot of people are working very hard at making that happen. So,
I'm so Smurfly.
End of rant. I just wanted to talk about that.
That was a good rant.
What do you think is the percentage of people that are voting for Biden specifically, so people will stop posting about Trump on social media? Well, when a staunch, lifelong Reagan conservative Republican comes on Facebook and says he's endorsing Joe Biden, and local Republicans attack his sexuality and his manhood because of his principled stand,
Oh my God.
for a moral president. I think that there's a lot of Republicans that are going to go into that booth and not vote for Donald J. Trump. We know that he has 90% approval rating among Republicans. So let's say I'm going to say 12 to 15% of people that go in that booth with an R on their voter registration card are not going to vote for Donald J. Trump. And then some of them are just going to stay home, which is just as good to me. So that's what I think about that. I think more Republicans are going to vote for Biden than Democrats are going to vote for Trump. I think that's a pretty safe bet. And I don't think the independents are going to split 50-50 because a lot of them are young. A lot of them are new voters, and they didn't register to vote for more Donald Trump. They registered to vote to put an end to Donald Trump. So there we go.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, that's current registered voters. Sorry, I was just on the. I was looking for some Pasco polls, but I don't see any. So what are you gonna do?
Tag these candidates on your local pages. Go look for their Facebook pages and share their information. Because we've all voted early, but a whole bunch of people are voting on election day. And I mean, over 50 people have reached out to me in the last 2 weeks for help with their ballot, including this morning. A guy who's never voted before, who didn't know, he knew who to vote for president, but he didn't know much below that. So there are still people that don't know that we have Democrats in these races. And your local Democratic Party has worked really hard to identify candidates and get people to run for everything. And we missed some races this cycle, but the ones we have candidates in are super important to our well-being. So there's that. Yeah. Never been a more important election in our life.
Yeah, that's just real.
There was somewhere else that I wanted to go, but I kind of ran out of steam there. Hey, Trump changed his election night plans.
Yeah, tell me more about that.
The campaign had a thing going on where if you emailed them or you posted something, you win a chance to win a trip to Washington D.C. for a massive election night party being held by Donald J. Trump at the Trump Hotel. That is also controversial. But they canceled that today, said the president's going to stay at the White House. So that's very interesting to me.
Yeah, I'm cool with that.
No big party at the Trump Hotel. What does that mean? Why would they do that?
I mean, if one had to guess.
If you're out of the White House when the decision gets made, it's hard to camp out in the basement and hold on to power. That's one possible reason they would not want to be away from the White House.
Way to make it dark.
I mean, they think they're going to lose and they don't want all those people in the room when he gets humiliated. That's another possible reason. So
definitely possible. I would like to point out that everybody who I see standing, I don't have a lot of Trump supporters on my Twitter, but there's people in the sort of like the crypto space that I still have to follow for the other stuff that I'm doing, which is kind of annoying. Hubris. So much hubris. Finding the one Rasmussen poll, this data scientist guy said, man, I only follow, because he said, oh, Trump's going to win. I'm like, oh, you're a data scientist. Like, what data are you using? Because I actually really want to know if they see something I don't. Well, I only follow Rasmussen because they're really good. So you go and find out the track record for Rasmussen, and they have the lowest percentage win of any sort of higher profile poll. Like they're by the data the worst. But nope, he's totally good. They're the ones with the best methodology. They always get it wrong more than everyone else, but they have the best methodology, and so that's why he's got money on this race. I'm like, man, that's awesome. I'm super excited about that.
They're afraid of some waiter in the back of the room shouting, "Fucking loser!" Yeah, I never wanted to be a waiter more than right now. Hey, Virginia, that's a great story. A woman in Orlando made her husband stop the car so she could vote while she was in labor yesterday.
I heard about that. That is hardcore.
Yeah. I hope that baby's name is Franchise.
That's specific.
Elizabeth, he can't hobnob with the peasants. He's got a plane to catch.
To Russia.
That's an interesting idea. He's got a Secret Service detail for the rest of his life.
Yeah,
I don't think he's getting out of the country easily.
Well, unless he just brings them with him. I mean, I don't know.
Do you think they're going to let that happen?
I mean, I don't know, dude. I have no idea. Like, what happens?
Yeah.
What happens when the state AG in New York is like, "Hey, so you're under arrest now"? Like, January 21st.
Yeah.
What happens then? We've never tried this before.
Yeah.
Can you imagine, like, all the Secret Service with their guns pointed out suddenly have their guns pointed in?
What a weird world we live in, man.
It is. It's
so many norms have been smashed.
Yeah, we don't know.
Yeah.
Who knows? I just want him to be fucking gone. I don't ever have to want to think about him ever again. That's what I want. So that one ad that was going around yesterday, I think it was actually a Biden ad that had like the circle that was like flapping to one of Trump's dumber speeches. And then finally somebody just comes in and like fills it in, and it's the bubble next to Biden's name. It was really well done. It was cute. Good talk.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just scrolling through the comments here.
Mm-hmm.
If he is arrested, the Secret Service watch him in his cell? That's a good question.
Right, like that, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you watch Rachel's A Block last night?
Some of it, not all of it.
It's probably why you slept well. If you didn't watch it, because it was terrifying.
Oh yeah, no, I caught it this morning. Yeah, about the
hospitals being hacked.
Yeah. Well, and that being the same appropriate kind of thing to start hacking actual election result databases and stuff. It's not good.
Yep. And it's a Russian criminal enterprise. Gosh.
Weird.
If only we'd had some sort of warning that Russia might do things like this. I'm very worried about power grid interruption. I'm worried about the power going off in big cities where people are trying to vote. That's the irrational thing that I'm afraid of. And yet it's not that irrational.
Oh, that's adorable. Some people on Twitter are very, very unexcited about the new Martian law thing.
I just finished reading the Red Mars series again for like the third time with sort of fresh eyes. I got past the how geeky cool the whole thing is and started paying more attention to the politics and economics in that series. And this is Elon Musk making sure Venezuela doesn't happen to him on another planet. Like right now, he wants all the lithium Venezuela has, but he's willing to collapse their government to get it. And he's trying to set it up so no government authority can keep him from getting whatever the Martian equivalent of lithium is going to be.
That's dark, and I don't think that's exactly
what the meta nationals in the Red Mars series did.
Right. That's not now. That it was a science fiction book. Right. He's been telegraphing, and everybody in the Mars sort of colonial science-based sociopolitical people have been talking about this for a long time, not about securing lithium or doing any kind of nefarious thing, just that the absolute best thing that happened in America was that we cut the legacy systems off from Europe and managed to create a democracy that's lasted for a couple hundred years, right? I mean, it's fucked now, but we had a good run.
Right. Oh, listen, I'm not telling you that in the book series that one outcome was better than the other. Right, having Earth governments control Mars was not a good outcome, but having the meta-nationals was also like there were no good outcomes until the Martians basically made their gravity well inaccessible.
Yeah,
to they knocked down the space elevator and won their independence.
No, I mean that's like I've combed through the proposed governance ideas for Mars, and it's basically direct democracy. It's not horrible at all. And it's the kind of thing that, if the Martians all collectively said that they wanted to keep their own lithium, then they would do it. And it's basically just radical self-governance. Why wouldn't we support that? But everybody just sees, Elon Musk wants to be king of Mars, which is a whole other joke. But still,
but he really does.
Honestly, it would be a king in name only if the governance proposal that he himself has suggested goes into the thing. So we'll see.
True enough.
I'm optimistic.
I guess I'm going to have to live till 2050 to find out.
Corey, if you read 1984, it's a book, not now, right? Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
The double speak. Yeah, it's far too close.
Gonna have to stick around and find out.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So I guess I have to borrow the Mandalorian from several thousand of my friends on the internet.
You sure do.
Because
Oh,
the
Deb's
first
got her
episode is up.
FBI interview at 11 a.m. today because she is.
What did you do?
She's a rocket scientist.
I know. I'm just.
Or rocket proximate scientist. Either way, super genius person.
Yes.
All right, yeah. Let them know. Let them know that you're only tangentially related to Antifa through us, and everything will be fine.
Yeah, they're gonna bring this up.
Yeah, right.
These two assholes you watched on this show every day in Florida.
He said he was the treasurer of Antifa. God damn it, Corey! Fucking Jesus Christ!
Very helpful to our friends. Yeah. Hey, has everybody voted? Have you all voted? Please tell us you've all voted. I know Donna Arbogast has because I was there when she filled out her
I
ballot.
think everyone has by now.
Yeah, I hope you all have. I know Mike Silvestri has because he's busy helping other people vote right this minute. I know Dave Myers has because he posted a picture of his I voted sticker. I know Kathy Brakeman
because they were fighting.
Yep, which was very cute.
Joke fighting. Yes, it was very cute.
All right, you are screwed. What?
What?
Franklin McKenzie, he's voted. Cool. Nice. Deb voted in Florida. Good. Thank you, guys. We're really thank you, Rhonda. Voted early thanks to Greg. Yes, I did it all. I signed you up for early voting and I called you 5 times.
Nailed it.
No. So I'm very happy that all of you are. Look at this. 10:57, Corey. 10:57. You've made this a bearable 4 years, all of you.
Agreed. Yeah, so Greg and I were talking about, he was like, oh, we might want to start going live at 7:30 on election night. I'm like, nah, 6.
Yeah, we're going to be early. We're going to have some guests. Kelly Smith is going to join us, but I know she's going to have an incredibly busy day, so I'm not sure what time that'll
we
happen.
should invite Jess and Brandy and like all the
Danny and Kathy Lewis. Yeah,
Brad's already agreed to pop in. Just the greatest hits. We'll get everybody to pop in for a half an hour each. Because I know I'm going to be dialed in probably far before that, but I figured if we're all going to be dialed in anyway, we might as well open it up and do it together. We'll have some coverage from Rachel Maddow. I'm sure Kornacki, anytime he comes on, that nerd is always fun to watch. And we're going to be establishing, like I already know some of the specific places in North Carolina that I'm going to be looking for results from. We want to get the early data out of there and of course out of Florida. And so I want to be ready for that, right? So I want to have like sort of the list of things that we're going to be looking out for.
We'll be seeing a lot of exit polling.
Mm-hmm.
On the day, we'll be seeing a lot of turnout exit polling from people being interviewed the minute after they vote. That's going to be important. We understand that polling is tricky, but we're looking for confirmation that things are going our way, which is a better thing to be looking for than a hope and a prayer that it's going our way.
Hold on. I gotta show that heat map from Texas because it's like, what the fuck? Do I get points for like all pretty much not swearing through that whole
You did very well. And
Thanks.
I'm glad I warned you ahead of time.
Yeah, me too. He's super smart. Anyway, so I'll just let's just check this out for a second. What's going on here? So the dark green is over 110%.
The dark green and the darkest red.
Yes.
That's 95 to 100 and up.
So what do all these like dark spots have in common, Craig?
What do they have in common?
Yeah.
Well, they're all counties in Texas.
Who
They're all people who have
usually
never
lead?
been in my living room.
Okay, you're bad at this. They're all Democratic strongholds.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every single one of these dark spots is a Democratic stronghold.
That south tier down along the Mexican border. Yep.
San Antonio, El Paso.
Yep.
Yeah. So,
and we also know they had record new voter turnout and record young voter turnout in Texas. Those people ain't voting for Donald Trump.
No, they're not. Yeah, Corey said population centers. Yeah, the population centers, but the population centers tend to skew Democratic by pretty strong margins. So I think we're probably gonna have to like send Beto a present, because this is a lot of his doing. Again, like he's got an army of people and really good candidates that are running for state legislature and Congress and right. It's not just him, but damn, like this is hardcore.
Yeah. Hey, Donna Arbogast, you can expect an invitation from Mishi to come do that here because we're going to be watching returns, and she wanted to make sure you knew that you were included in our plans to do that. So they'll be heckling from just off camera, I think is how that's going to go.
Oh, man. Franklin is in Mecklenburg County, North Carolina.
We'd love to hear how you think it's going, Franklin.
Yeah, 100%. Definitely show up on Tuesday and let us know how things are going. And if there's any specific counties that we should be taking a look at in North Carolina, because that is a race that, again, the count is actually going to come in at a reasonable hour and could be indicative of how the rest of our 2 weeks is going to go after that.
Yeah. Deb Bavada, I've never seen this many early voting lines. I drove past the Regency Park Branch Library on Little Road on Sunday evening at 10 to 7, and it was busy. There were cars in the parking lot and people standing outside waiting to vote at 7 o'clock at night on a Sunday. So that's exciting. Now, I want to remind everybody, tomorrow is the last day for early voting in Pasco County. The polls are open till 7 p.m., and you're going to be sharing road space with a whole bunch of people who are trick-or-treating, even though that's stupid and they shouldn't be. So make sure you have a plan. If you're going to vote tomorrow, you get out as early in the day as possible to get it done. Don't let a delay in traffic or something else stop you. Go get it done if you haven't already voted and you see this later. Because like we just established that pretty much everybody watching, we got it done. And I feel really good. I humble brag. I feel really good about what we managed to do in the last 3 years here. That we've made a lot more people aware and ready and informed. And I'm super, super proud of that work. So yeah. Arizona could go blue. And I think your Senate race maybe is spread. I'll tell you what, Espy in Mississippi, He's gonna win that Senate seat.
You think so?
Yes, I do. An African American senator from Mississippi.
I mean,
for the first time since I think 1880.
Has there been any recent polls that have come out in Mississippi?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's really close.
I need to look this up.
The analysis I saw was if Espy gets good African American turnout, he has a very good chance of winning. And African American turnout has been outstanding in Mississippi this cycle. So thank you, Melanie. Glad you voted. I'm proud of all of you for getting this done. Yeah, Mark Kelly looking very strong. And did you see the humiliating, shitty way that Donald Trump treated Martha McSally on stage the other day?
Yeah.
Get up here. You got a minute. Get up here. Nobody wants to hear that. Come on, hurry. Fuck you, old man. That was just, that was disgusting to watch. And I feel a little bad for her, but not bad enough that I'm not supporting Mark Kelly.
The last poll has SB down 8, but it is a lesser good poll.
Right.
There's 2 from the Tyson group that ran, one in March, one in August. And that's where he was down 26 and then down 1. But again, these are all like C level polls. So I think the best that we can take out of there is that that's a Mississippi's
a big election day turnout.
It is an uphill race for sure.
The fact that we're even talking about it is remarkable. And the Georgia Senate races are definitely going our way. Senator Perdue backed out of a debate after getting his ass kicked by Ossoff the other day. That
clip we showed yesterday wasn't even the whole thing.
No, there was more. There was a lot more.
Yeah, no, he took him outside the freaking witch head and beat the fucking shit out of him.
Yep.
Rachel
and the other race
tomorrow.
Yeah, the other race, like this is something I forgot to mention when we talked about this yesterday. The other race, Warnock, yes, he is leading. Yes, you were right. There are 2 other. If you total up the 2 Republicans, they total just about his. But they've also been polling about who he would, how he would do in a runoff, and he's ahead of both of them by at least 8 to 10 points in runoff situations. Yes,
okay.
So he's definitely killing. And it's 11:05. It's time for Corey to cry on the internet. I just wish John Lewis was here to see this.
Stupid.
Fuck.
Nope. Show over.
All right. We love you guys. I don't think we're going to do any extra shows unless something extraordinary happens tomorrow. I got a lot on my plate right now. But we are, we're doing church on Sunday morning at the Church of Reason, which we will stream live. And you could join us in the game if you have the Minecraft Java edition. or in the live stream to comment and express your gratitude, which we will hang on the wall in the church. But Monday, we're back with another show at 10 a.m. And Tuesday, we're going to go from probably 6 o'clock until we're just too tired and exhausted or drunk or stoned to continue. We're going to pull a marathon on Tuesday evening. So I don't expect there'll be a midday show on Tuesday. I'm not even sure what to say about Wednesday at this point.
Yeah. I mean, we'll go live Wednesday morning.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And honestly, like if there's big news over the weekend and people want a live show, even if Greg is too tired, let me know and I'll just come and do it because it's fucking crunch time. Who gives a shit? Let's make it happen.
Oh, Kathy Brinkman. She has Minecraft Java. We would love to have
no
you.
way. That'd be great.
Yeah. We would love to have you in the server. That'd be cool.
That would be really, really cool. Yeah. Touch base with us Sunday morning and we'll make sure we set it up in advance. We start at 9:30. So we should like start that at like 8:30, 8:45, something like that.
All right. We love you people very much. We're so grateful that you join us for this. And when you tell us that you need this and you're happy we're here, that's the only reason I think that we keep doing it. Is I think we would have been too discouraged to continue if you had not shown us so much love and support. The numbers are good. Lots of people watch and we're super grateful for that. And also Sasquatch is real.